Joe Burns, Loyal BVA Servant Leader by Stuart Nelson. 3 photos accompany this feature story on Joe Burns. The first of the 3 is a recent half-length image of Joe dressed in a dark suit coat and tie. There is no caption. The second picture shows a younger Joe Burns speaking at a podium on a platform. There is a large U.S. flag directly behind him. The flag hangs vertically. Another gentleman wearing a BVA garrison cap is seen seated and holding the pole of a second U.S. flag in the far left of the photo. The immediate background and surroundings are quite grandiose due to a visible marble pillar and elaborate architecture. The caption states, joined on stage by then-President George W. Bush and VA Secretary Anthony Principe, Joe Burns addressed the traditional Veterans Day ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery on a cold and wet November 11, 2002. A third photo reveals a standing Joe Burns with a Marine brother also standing to his right. The upper portion of a white cane is held in Joe's left hand. The 2 men, both with faint smiles, are dressed in the dark-colored formal Marine Corps uniform that includes a white belt. Both have a small name identifier on their uniforms that states, above their names, Band of Brothers. The caption states, close friend Roger Villarreal with Joe Burns at Veterans Day Marine Corps Band of Brothers reunion in Washington, D.C. in early 2000s. The article begins as follows. For many Americans during the past half-century or so, Memorial Day weekend has signaled the beginning of summer, celebrated for 3 days with a full schedule of warm weather activities such as family and neighborhood picnics, pool openings, yard cleanups, or visits to amusement parks. The weekend has also become a popular one for discount sales at retail stores and supermarkets. Memorial Day itself was created to honor and express gratitude for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice to ensure the preservation of our freedoms, the sacrifice of their very lives. For Joe Burns, BVA National President from 2001 through 2003, and still an active member of the Louisiana-Mississippi Regional Group. The day is a stirring reminder of the men and women who have sacrificed the last and only thing they had left to give. It is a day on which he chooses to reverently recognize and honor them. Everyone can choose how they view and spend their Memorial Day holiday, but to me, it's about remembering the fallen in battle, those who have not returned home and never will, and to take some time to look at the flag and what it means, he said. I look at it as an opportunity to refresh my patriotism. Joe prefers that his fellow citizens take the time to inwardly revere the sacrifices of veterans rather than acknowledge them with the commonly offered free meal at restaurants on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. I don't need a free sandwich to be appreciated, he quipped. Joe understands at least something about sacrifice for what he also gave up while serving as a Marine Corps First Lieutenant and Company Commander in Vietnam. He joined the Corps in 1968 at age 23 after having already graduated from college the year before with a degree in petroleum geology. Following his training in Officer Candidate School, he was commissioned and sent to Vietnam with the Infantry Company 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines. He advanced quickly to First Lieutenant and the assignment as Company Commander. He had been in Vietnam just 10 months and 27 days when he struck a North Vietnamese Army landmine while digging a foxhole with a shovel. Although Joe later regained partial vision in one eye, the blast left him totally blind at the time. After months of recuperation and rehabilitation, he still needed help to get back on his feet, both literally and figuratively. Shortly after my discharge from Philadelphia Naval Hospital, I received information from the Blinded Veterans Association saying that the organization was here for me and would be my advocate. I needed all the advocacy I could possibly get in those days, and the price was right, so I joined. Little did he know at the time the extent to which the advocacy on his behalf would later be paid forward with his own sacrifice of time, talent, and resources to benefit his fellow blinded veterans. I went to a regional group meeting early on, probably in 1971, he said. It was a room of mostly World War II guys, and although they were accommodating, I just didn't feel like I had much in common with them. For the next 16 years, Joe had little contact with the BVA, aside from the convention announcements and BVA bulletins he received in the mail. After successfully working several additional years with limited sight in the petroleum industry, he went back to school and took some accounting courses, not knowing for sure where they would lead him. I ended up really liking those courses, and I got the hang of accounting even more than I had expected, he said. Joe earned a Bachelor of Science in Accounting with a 3.97 grade point average. He He also became a certified public accountant after again surprising himself by passing every section of the qualifying exam on his first try. I remember the exam administrators accommodating my vision impairment by putting me in a room by myself and enlarging the text on all the questions and problems I had to work through. In 1994, Joe established Joe Burns Accounting Services with a partner and ran the business at the same time he utilized his knowledge of finances as he served in leadership capacities in the Louisiana Regional Group. My involvement in the organization really got off the ground when I met Buddy Spivey and then received the Melvin J. Maas Award at the 1987 convention in Orlando. But my accounting interest and background was the other thing that got me really engaged with BVA operations. Just prior to the 50th anniversary National Convention in Washington, D.C. in 1995, Joe picked up a written description of the National Treasurer position. I read it over, in large print of course, and thought to myself, hey, that's something I think I can do. I ended up nominating myself at the convention and won with the support of the Florida Regional Group. Following his term as National Treasurer, Joe was elected National Secretary and National Vice President and served in those positions from 1997 to 2001 prior to his election as National President. He later served as financial consultant, non-voting member of the National Board of Directors for nearly 14 years. The awe-inspiring highlight of my 2 years as the national president had to be sitting next to and speaking from the same podium as the President of the United States and the Secretary of Veterans Affairs at Arlington National Cemetery the year after 9/11, surrounded on all sides by those significant markers representing those who truly gave all, he said. Joe admits to worrying sometimes that BVA may not always be able to continue helping blinded veterans the same way the organization has for now 77 years. He's seen his share of tough times when spending cuts were necessary, but he remains optimistic about BVA's future. I've been motivated in the past and continue to be by a dedicated office and field staff, the latter of which is now our Veterans Service Program, he said. Couple that with our congressional charter and strong relationships on Capitol Hill, and we still have reason to look forward to a bright future. Unlike those who believe Americans may be forgetting the sacrifices of veterans and the importance of holidays like Memorial Day, Joe is optimistic about that as well. The veterans who returned from Iraq and Afghanistan have been treated so much better than those of the past, especially those from the Vietnam era, he said. That's why I'm upbeat about the work BVA and our sister organizations have done in the past and will hopefully continue to do long into the future.